here for Puerto Rico. According to the governor, they haven't seen something like this in 100 years.
Tonight, the death toll is a staggering 2,975 lives lost.
We lost everything.
And I'm like looking across the other rooftops and it's just like, damn, you know, like these people need some help.
Welcome to the 72nd FIM Motocross of Nations at Red Bud Racetrack.
This was the greatest idea outside the fact we actually had to race.
They're just really good to see people helping each other out.
We are going to give it everything that we got for the territory of Puerto Rico.
The impossible just happened.
Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico.
Hey, I'm Travis Pastrana from Annapolis, Maryland. For me, motocross racing was my life. My mom raced, my dad raced. When I was a kid, we were either at the track or we were at the track.
Motocross, a term that comes from the French word for motorcycle, motocyclette, and cross-country, is a race on an off-road circuit, complete with jumps and challenging turns.
So Travis liked motorcycles, and we just started buying motorcycles as a family, and we just go trail riding, and that's kind of how it started from there.
Travis's legacy started when he was in motocross and you know, winning 125 championships and in supercross and motocross, and then going to the freestyle contest where they were just starting, and he would go to a freestyle contest at the age of 14, and he'd beat all the guys in their 20s and 30s.
For me, my greatest highlight in racing was probably getting to represent Team USA, Motocross of Nations, Saint-Angeli, France, going against the favored French team, getting booed by 100,000 screaming French people. At least I'm assuming it was booing and a lot of yelling. I didn't understand any of it, but I thought it was great. Kind of the biggest compliment you can get from visiting a foreign country and just whooping their butts.
Travis's professional racing career came to an end in his early 20s, but that didn't slow him down.
In the last 15 years, it's evolved to racing cars, freestyle, building tracks, and working with Nitro Circus. I think the greatest part about my life is there's no such thing as a normal day. Driving monster trucks, racing cars, living a day in Evel Knievel's boots.
Travis was born and raised in Maryland and still resides there with his wife and 2 kids.
My dad's side of the family is from Puerto Rico. My great-grandfather was Juan Diaz. He joined the United States Navy as a band member. He fought in World War I. His son, he decided he needed a name that was more American. He took on the name Pastrana and named his son Charles A. Pastrana.
After joining the U.S. Navy, Travis's great-grandfather, Juan Diaz, moved his family from Puerto Rico to Annapolis, Maryland, where he raised his son, Travis's grandfather, Charles Pastrana.
My dad's whole side of the family is from Puerto Rico. We've done a lot of filming down there with Nitro Circus, and I have so many great memories.
"1,000 miles from Miami, in the middle of the Caribbean Sea, Puerto Rico is an island rich with beautiful beaches, waterfalls, mountains, and rainforests. It became an unincorporated territory of the United States in 1898. Spanish for rich port, the Puerto Rican economy was rich in sugarcane, coffee, and tobacco exports. More recently, pharmaceutical manufacturing.
Es un pueblo muy alegre, de gente sumamente hospitalaria.
In 2006, the U.S. eliminated tax cuts for companies that did business there, and Puerto Rico's stable economy started to decline. The territory has since accumulated over $70 billion of debt and an unemployment rate more than double that of the U.S.
Y cuando vine a ser la alcaldesa de Loíza, era un pueblo en una condición económica muy triste, tratando de levantar un pueblo con bien pocos recursos económicos.
And then, on September 20th, 2017, after the island endured Hurricane Irma 2 weeks prior, Hurricane Maria a Category 5 hurricane battered the island.
This is probably the worst spirit for Puerto Rico. According to the governor, they haven't seen something like this in 100 years.
Right before the hurricanes, we were also heading to a major financial crisis. So I'll say that we got hit by nature with a 1-2 punch when we were at our weakest.
Para mí fue horrible cuando a mitad de pasillo un viento me llevó, o sea, no podía detenerme, tratando de pegar freno con mis pies y no pude, choqué con una puerta. Me tuve que echar a llorar, tuve que empezar a llorar porque estaba traumatizada.
We lost everything.
The 155-mile-per-hour winds left survivors without electricity, running water, and for many, a roof over their heads.
The roof went completely off. When I saw my house for the first time, I broke down crying.
The island suffered catastrophic damage, resulting in a humanitarian crisis. Most of the island experienced major flooding and the worst electrical blackout in U.S. history. The death toll in Puerto Rico was initially reported as 64 by Puerto Rican authorities, but revised later to a staggering estimate of almost 3,000 deaths attributed to the storm.
La gente murió por falta de electricidad, porque tenían que darse terapia, falta de medicamento, personas mayores murieron.
Por decirme, ha pasado ya un año y todavía familias que cadecen. No, eso duele.
Es bien importante que el mundo sepa que todavía Puerto Rico necesita ayuda.
I believe that people have a will to overcome this, and that's all we can do. I mean, right now Puerto Ricans have two choices: either pack their bags and leave, or stay and work for this.
A few months after the hurricanes hit, Travis was on a film shoot with his friends, and together they came up with an idea: to raise money for Puerto Rico by fielding a team in the biggest motocross race in the world, the Motocross of Nations. The Motocross of Nations takes place in a different country every year. This is the fourth time the competition has been held in the USA since it started in 1947, and the first time it has been held at Red Bud Racetrack. Like the Olympics, the U.S. territory of Puerto Rico has its own team, and if you hold a U.S. passport, you can race for the territory.
Look, if we could rebuild a couple motocross courses, maybe put a roof on one or two houses, I was like, you know, we're not going to affect the world, but we're going to affect a few people in a really positive way.
As good as the Puerto Rico Donations fundraising concept seemed to Travis, there were still multiple challenges standing in the way of making this team a reality. Some were political, some were financial, but the biggest was physical. Could Travis realistically still race against the world's best?
All right, this is a bad idea. Racing dirt bikes against riders half my age that are training every single day, that don't have the injuries that I have, and trying to jump in there to represent a territory in the Motocross of Nations it's crazy.
No new team could possibly be successful without a great coach. Someone with Donations experience, someone who would embrace the goals of the project, but also help the new team be competitive in an ultra-competitive international race.
Ricky Johnson, the original bad boy of motocross. He had so much style, so much flair. He was on the dream team from the Motocross of Nations 1986. When we called RJ, Ricky Johnson was like, yes, I'm in. I didn't even tell him the whole story, and he was like, I'm in, which shocked me. And I thought, man, this could be really cool.
You know, Travis, it started out with, hey, I have this crazy idea and I need you to talk me out of it. And he said, hey, we're thinking of putting this together. But why did I do it? Because I want to give back a little bit, and I do love motocross. I'm honored to represent Puerto Rico.
Now with a coach and the support of Puerto Rico, Travis's next step was to find two racers who could be competitive at Donations, be fan favorites to help raise awareness, and who ultimately wanted to help the cause in Puerto Rico.
Who can we get together that just loves dirt bikes? Who's the most passionate people? Who can we get together that fans are going to want to see back on that racetrack?
Travis's first call was to Ryan Sipes, a former motocross and supercross star.
Ryan Sipes is the epitome of hard-working America. I mean, this guy's a country boy through and through. There's no one better fit for Team Puerto Rico. No one more respected as a rider. No one more respected as someone that works his butt off, that trains as hard as he can, that's an awesome father, that's an awesome husband, that's an amazing human being, and that loves the sport.
And when Trav called me about this thing, it was kind of like, this is a little bit crazy, knowing that those two guys have been out of it for so long, and I don't really race a ton of moto anymore. I'm kind of more of an off-road guy now. But I was pumped. This is a once-in-a-lifetime deal. I'm not gonna ever pass this up. This opportunity will never come again for me, so I had to go for it.
Sipes also appreciated that racing for Puerto Rico would ultimately help many in need in the U.S. territory.
Yeah, the hurricane down there was gnarly. You see all the footage on the news. You know, those good people went through a lot and still going through a lot, to be honest. It ravaged the whole country, and they're definitely not getting the aid I feel like that they should have or that we would have here in the United States.
With Ryan Sipes on board, Travis still needed one more racer to complete Team Puerto Rico. His next call was to longtime friend and motocross legend, Kevin Windham.
K-Dub, Kevin Windham, far and away most talented badass that's ever been on a motorcycle.
In his prime, Kevin Windham was considered one of the world's fastest racers, competing in both motocross and supercross. And in 2005, Windham helped Team USA win the Motocross of Nations in Ernie, France. 5 years into retirement, Windham has not ridden much, choosing to stay at home with his family and work on his farm.
I've been retired for 5 years now, had an amazing career, but made the decision through retirement that I needed to stay home, and staying home is what I did. And being 40 years old, being out of the sport for 5 years, I have a lot of hurdles and a little bit of time.
Since pulling Windham in, people are still kind of like, is this a joke? Because he looks like a caveman and he's overweight and out of shape. But he's still Kevin Windham.
The Motocross of Nations is the most prestigious race ever, and the fact that it's on American soil, which is cool. You know, I mean, we're all Americans, even though we're representing Puerto Rico. It's just the whole thing came together and just felt so right. And I look forward to seeing at the end the positive things that come from it down in Puerto Rico.
2 months before the race, Windham committed to hitting the gym and the local track to try to get his endurance back up.
I would think that all the sweat would mean that you lose weight. Hadn't been losing too much weight lately.
Difficult for Kevin was the realization that racing 30 minutes straight was not as easy as it once was for him.
I was seeing all kind of weird stuff that wasn't really out there. 20, I felt great. 30, last 3 was torture, man. Seriously seeing stuff, missing lines, hands falling off grips, all kind of crap. We're striving for progress, not perfection. That's the quote of the day, and pretty much what I have to remember for the next 3 weeks now. Getting pretty close. I got to realize that not as good as I once was, and the progression of the sport's been pretty phenomenal. So considering that 3 weeks I'll be riding against the best athletes on planet Earth on motocross, a little nervous.
Everyone that we have on our team is putting their best foot forward. It's not a fluke or it's not a joke. Travis is out doing motos from one bike to another bike to another bike to another bike. Kevin went and bought a bike so he could start practicing. And then Ryan was going back and forth between the 2-stroke and the 4-stroke and found out that he's 5 seconds a lap faster on the 4-stroke, so he went that route.
As daunting as the challenge seemed for Team Puerto Rico to truly be competitive, in a race against a new generation of riders, being part of the Motocross of Nations experience had the team more motivated than nervous.
The fans at Redbud, the fans are the best there. They have the best fans by far in the U.S., and then for this race is going to be times a million.
I'll know if I'm doing my job if I'm riding around the track and I hear people waving flags, blowing horns, running the chainsaws without the bars on. If you can hear a noise following Team Puerto Rico around the track, we'll all know that we did our job, and that's enough.
just knowing that Kev, Travis, and Ryan will be there fighting for Puerto Rico, and the amount of support that we've had since announcing the team is incredible.
This year, it's all about going out there, having a good time, bringing back to the roots what motocross was meant to be in the start, and at the end of the day, being able to give back and hopefully make a big difference in the racing community in Puerto Rico. We're here in Puerto Rico. Our goals for the week are to work on some homes that were badly damaged during the hurricane, rebuild a motocross track, and hand out supplies wherever they're needed.
The newly formed team, with the help of the nonprofit organization Global Disaster Outreach, recruited a group of friends who are volunteering their time, elbow grease, and expertise.
Well, when Nitro called, we had never taken on a job this big. I sat down with all my guys and figured out if we could handle what you all were wanting to do. And once we decided we could, ran with it.
We were able to raise way more money than we thought we were going to. We have great sponsors. Just so many people from the industry donating their time, donating everything. We were able to come down with over 40 people with all different skill sets and come down, swing a hammer, work a backhoe, put roofs on houses.
Just to give back. That's it. To be a part of an awesome project where others will benefit and to create awareness that, hey, there still need to be done.
I got 3 kids and I'm just pumped that we're down here and we are helping some families, helping some people get back in their house that haven't been in there in a year or 2 years.
The team is focusing their efforts in Loíza, a small town on the northeastern coast of the island. Loíza, where over half the population lives below the poverty line, was one of the hardest hit communities.
We have to do the line for gas, the line for the water, fighting in the supermarket with people for the food.
It was full anarchy here. The cops couldn't do anything. There was no electricity. There was no phone service. Like, nobody could communicate. It was something wild to know that civilization could just break down that quickly.
Tara Geiger, a good friend of Travis Pastrana and a professional motocross racer from Puerto Rico, was in the States when the hurricane hit and struggled to contact her family there.
The storm ripped through the complete center of the islands. I lived through a few hurricanes, but it would skirt the north coast, so the whole south side was still up and functioning and you could get stuff, or it went through the south side and the north side was fine. So this was the first time that it just decimated the island. Like, there's nothing anybody could do.
La mayor necesidad son viviendas para los que las perdieron, asistencia de salud mental, como dije, y un plan para convertir a Puerto Rico en un país más resiliente, que lo que se construya aguanta el embate de otro huracán.
This is something that if we can help families with our extended family, I think that's a really awesome place to be. We're here, Red Bud, Buchanan, Michigan. Honestly, this is awesome.
Team Puerto Rico arrives in Michigan, ready to race their hearts out in the Motocross of Nations.
Friday, start riding tomorrow. Motocross of Nations 2018. What do you guys think?
This is the first time a team is racing to raise money for a cause.
And we'll be the first team ever at a Motocross of Nations, the Olympic of Motocross, that are going out there just to hang with the fans, to high-five the kids, to inspire the next generation, to have some fun, do it for a good purpose, but at the end of the day, to push ourselves and to give it hell.
Pastrana raced for Team USA in the 2000 Motocross of Nations, Windham in 1999 and 2005. And for Sipes, this will be his first appearance. Coach Ricky Johnson has competed 4 times in this international team competition.
Our goal for the weekend is to push as absolute hard as we can. Making the main event at the Motocross of Nations would be nothing short of a miracle. The longer we're out there and the better we do, the more that we can represent Puerto Rico and raise some awareness for the cause.
Already we're blowing the merchandise out the door, and we're looking at printing more. So as soon as we open up the doors here, people are flocking to it, so everything is right on track.
I mean, the welcome that we got, it's already been a win, and hopefully we continue that through Saturday and Sunday.
Team Puerto Rico was amazed by the reception they received from the fans at the Nations.
It's chaos here, and it's only Friday, so who knows what Saturday and Sunday's gonna bring. All the nations are here, all the riders from different countries, and it's a big stage.
But on the big stage, Travis is facing a potentially big problem.
Honestly, my racing goal this weekend is, currently my leg doesn't bend far enough to get to the foot peg. It's going to have to do that. So when that happens, I'm either going straight to the hospital or it's magically gonna work and we're gonna be out there.
While Travis was at the top of his game in his past Motocross of Nations, his body has taken a beating over the past 17 years. And a recent injury while training could put him at more of a disadvantage on the track. A pseudoaneurysm in Travis's leg could possibly cause compartment syndrome if his leg bends further than 90 degrees.
When my doctor, who says, "You got this," every time I say I've got a bad injury, ends the last email with Godspeed, I do have some concerns. But having said that, I'm standing, we're here, and we're not gonna quit. So it is what it is.
Part of the opening day events are a press conference and a parade where each team gets to introduce their riders to the world.
And the final team that we're introducing here this weekend, they're doing it for a great cause. Please welcome Puerto Rico. That's Kevin Windham, Ryan Sipes, Travis Pastrana, Coach Ricky Johnson, and team manager Gabby Catala.
No, this started 6 months ago and was the best kept secret in motocross. The world has seen how much damage happened in Puerto Rico and how much really people haven't helped them get back on their feet.
Been retired now for 5 years. I would say I'm a plus-size man, at least in the motorcycle world. I'm full-figured, and can tell you all that I take a lot of pride in this event. I'm stoked to be here. I'm glad to see the participation of the fans and the things we've been able to do to raise some money.
At the end of the day, we get to do something that not a lot of people get to do, and that's actually raise some money into a place that needs some help. And
everyone that supports us, everyone that buys anything from Puerto Rico, a cowbell, a shirt, anything, those proceeds are gonna go to help us give back to the racing community in Puerto Rico and help put some roofs on some houses.
It's not the dream team, but this is my dream team. Thank you, Gabby, for allowing us to represent the territory of Puerto Rico.
Ladies and gentlemen, Team Puerto Rico.
Some of the most amazing riders in the world, when they saw Kevin, Travis, and Ryan come in for the press conference, they were going over. You know, when you see, let's say, Tony Caroli or Jeffrey Hurlinson, even these other guys are really famous. They're the best in the world, but they were not able to ride with Travis during his time. So they were going over to him to say hi, taking pictures. So they're fans of Team Puerto Rico too.
Using their racing celebrity, Team Puerto Rico pumps up the crowd for the cause.
It's Friday! We haven't even started a motorcycle yet!
I'm seeing all these other countries with shirts on about Puerto Rico, which is really kind of blowing my mind, to be honest with you.
We can actually give back to more than just the motocross community, and it's gonna be a lot bigger and a much bigger scale than I ever thought was possible.
The crowd has just been nuts about Team Puerto Rico. How could you not? You got Travis Pastrana, Kevin Windham, and Ryan Sipes.
We're here. It's gonna be awesome.
Tomorrow, the teams will take to the track for the first day of racing, the qualifying round.
It's amazing people are living in this right now. Like this is just
It's crazy. It looks like the hurricane just lifted the roof off. Just
there's no roofs.
Yeah.
There's like really a lot of houses with just nothing on top. Or they just makeshift something.
In the city of Louisa, Travis and Ryan survey the task in front of them while volunteer crews hammer away. Their goal is to construct roofs, repair walls and flooring, and restore electrical on as many homes as possible, one of them being the home of Louisa resident Maria Quiones.
You're working for years, and you see one day you lose everything. So it's sad.
Te quiero presentar a Travis, el responsable para todo esto, trayendo el help y todo lo que están pasando por él competir para nosotros en el motocross mundial.
Okay, gracias. Thank you for whatever you do for help.
Of course.
No problem. No, thank you. This is pretty cool for the whole project, and to be able to come down here, and this is great.
Yo me siento bien y estoy bien agradecida porque le tengo muchísimas ayudas a ella, que ya no las tenía, y ustedes la están ayudando. Y estoy bien agradecida con ustedes, todo el grupo que venga, que la ayuden. Okay.
The group gets to work on the roof and inside of Maria's house. The construction crew that Global Disaster Outreach assembled includes a team from New Wave Construction.
Everybody knows what they do, everybody knows what they're good at. Got some good framers with me today, and just let them run.
All of us are super stoked on being able to come out here and have this great opportunity to, give back, build a few roofs, build some things over at the motocross track.
It's definitely an emotional time, just seeing what these guys are going through and what their living conditions are. There's seriously mold on everything, and it's damp all the time, so it's raining on and off on us, and we're scrambling to try to get the roof on.
This is the things that you take for granted at home that you walk into your house and it's air conditioned or it's heated. So, a lot of nails sticking out of the wall, some rebar and stuff, so before we can come in here and smooth it out, gotta cut all this stuff off. We're gonna try to make it a little bit better for it. Like wire brush, something like that.
Let me see if I can find
Okay. There's just some paint up there. New paint's going on it, but the old paint is flaking off and it's kind of nasty, so we got to get the old paint off before we put the new stuff on it. We don't have anything here to do it, so we're seeing what she's got inside. This is how you bring Kentucky to Puerto Rico. We make your own tool if you don't have one. Kentucky tool. It's perfect. Yeah, man, everybody here's been, obviously they're pretty pumped that we're here, helping them out, but they're not asking for something for free. They're jumping in. She's going to get tools for us. She's up there with a hammer and a chisel knocking out concrete herself, which is it's cool to help somebody that wants to help themselves.
But the enormity of the larger need in the community weighs heavy on some of the crew.
And I'm looking across the other rooftops, and it's just damn, these people need some help.
I think over 300 homes in this town alone that don't have roofs yet, and it's we just can't forget that there's still people struggling. As good as it might look on the news, and the news has already moved on to something else, and there's been other storms since, but this place is still hit hard, and people are still trying to recover from it.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Red Bud. We're here in Michigan. It's the 72nd edition of the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations. We've had a lot of rain, and the track is definitely going to be challenging for the qualifying races here today.
It's pouring down raining. It's going to be muddy, and the rut's going to be so deep. My knees suck so bad. It's going to be awesome.
The bad weather isn't stopping any of the diehard motocross fans who've come from around the globe to support their teams.
The Motocross of Nations to kick some and watch some motocross. USA! USA! Kingdom!
The 72nd Motocross of Nations hosts 30 countries, and each nation has 3 riders. In the qualifying round, only the top 19 teams advance to the A main. The remaining teams have a chance to reach the A main by competing for only one spot in the B main tomorrow.
Big day of qualifying today, and all this game plan that Team Puerto Rico has been doing, it's about to come to fruition one way or another. B main, A main, we don't know. We're going to go grip it in the mud and rip it and hope for the best, I think. So it's about game time.
Kevin Windham will be the first to ride in the qualifying round. Ryan Sipes is second, and Travis Pastrana third.
You just saw a shot of the legend Kevin Windham coming out of retirement to ride for Team Puerto Rico in this event. He hasn't seriously ridden a motorcycle in 5 years.
Yeah. In this one, it's just the MXGP riders, so one rider from each nation. 5-second board. The first time we go racing here at Bedford. Monster Energy F1 Motocross of Nations, and Jeffrey Hurley's from the middle of the gate. Stays out of trouble, and then he goes down and gets hit.
Right out of the gate, 2 riders go down, including favored rider Jeffrey Hurlings from the Netherlands. Puerto Rico's Kevin Windham, number 49 in red, stays up and surprises everyone with his speed on the bike.
So Tomac, what happened to him? Was that a mechanical issue?
The track conditions are brutal, even for some of the competition's favored riders like Eli Tomac of the United States.
Tony Cairoli for Italy is leading the way, number 19, and Kenny Roxon just behind him. Tony Cairoli wins it by 21 seconds.
Windham finishes in 21st place. With the top 19 teams qualifying directly into the main event, Windham's strong finish gives his teammates hope that they might pull off a miracle and have a shot to race in the final of the most prestigious motocross event in the world.
Team Puerto Rico!
What do you think about Windham?
Windham, he did a good job out there. He just didn't get a good start.
We'll take 21. I'm just glad it's in one piece and having fun.
Dude, it's such a those first laps. I was not mentally prepared for that. Just people everywhere, man. Like just going like they have one race left to live, you know? Like crossing and out of control and just people going down, which is what I guess you gotta be like, but I'm not that guy anymore.
Next at the gate for the second qualifying race, the MX2 class, is Ryan Sipes.
My goal for the race, qualify for the A main, is number 1. I want to be in the top 15. I think I can. I would be happy leaving the race saying against the best riders in the world, I was top 15.
Man, Sipes is chomping at the bit to get out here for the, his first ever donations. I know he's really pumped about that, and the guy just wants to ride.
Of the 3 Team Puerto Rico riders, Sipes, number 50, is the youngest and most fit, their best chance for placing closer to the top.
30 teams in this one. The MX2 qualifying race here at Redbird, the 72nd edition of the Monster Energy F1 Motocross of Nations 2018, about to get underway. 15-second board, about to go up, Jack. Holding it for a long time. Hunter Lawrence, good bar bag in action for him again there, but it's Blessinger who hits the front.
Brandis is going to come through the inside about 4th.
Right out of the gate, battling the mud, Sipes pulls into the top half.
But here with these 250s, even as powerful as they are, you just can't go into those turns and really stuff it in the sand and the mud.
Sipes is riding hard and mixing it up with the best racers in the world. He's charging forward and moves into 15th place.
Only 19 go through, so Puerto Rico are on the fringes then.
The muddy track continues to take down riders.
Oh, and crashes the triple step up. Oh, wow, he comes way short. That was a massive hit.
We're in the final lap, MX2 qualifying by far the most exciting race of the day so far, Jeff. He had Jorge Prado breathing down on his neck, but it was Ferrandis who held on by 0.7 of a second from Lawrence.
The fans here at Redbud have to be happy because that was a heck of a race, and we still have one more qualifying race to go.
Sipes exceeds even his own goals and finishes a remarkable 14th place, giving the team hope that if Travis Pastrana has a good race, they could be one of the 19 teams that head straight to the A main. With Windham and Sipes done with their races for the day, it's now Pastrana's turn to take to the track for the final qualifying race, the MX Open class.
Right now, it's looking like we're pretty right around 16th, 17th for the A main, but still have another race to go. Let's go, Travis!
The pressure is on Travis now to not only help his team advance to the A main, but to continue raising awareness for Puerto Rico by staying competitive at the Nations.
It's been a while since I geared up for when I used to go out and have some fun. Wish everything worked a little better. Wish I was a little younger.
Not only has Travis not raced professionally in 15 years, he's also doing it with a dangerously swollen and fluid-filled knee.
I'm not concerned about Travis. I know that when he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it no matter what. I think he's going to push it as hard as he can. Hopefully he has the sense if something happens and his leg starts filling that he'll pull up the track.
Travis is able to bend his knee enough to start his bike.
Oh, it's just the perfect amount of rain to just making the track soggy and goggles soggy and
The final qualifying race of the afternoon here at Redbud, Michigan in the United States of America. Justin Barsha for the USA. Travis Pastrana riding in there for Puerto Rico, and they are actually qualified at the moment, Jeff Emig, with their 2 results. They are in 17th, 2 places above the drop zone. 15-second border back, turns at 5, 20 plus 2 over on the far left. The riders in gates. Number 2 will be Justin Barsha from the USA. He needs a fantastic drop here. That's exactly what he gets. No. Oh, the Australian is upside down, going down the start straight. So Mitch Evans is down and out. He will hopefully pick himself up.
There's yet another pileup right out of the gate, and once again, Team Puerto Rico stays out of trouble.
We made it around the first turn. Good choice, throwing me off guard, a big pileup on the inside. He actually pulled pretty hard off the gate, so Travis did a great job. Just keep moving forward. Make it to the A main.
Whoa, 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 whoa! We've got carnage at the top of the hill!
Travis navigates the carnage and the chaos of the first few laps, jockeying for position with the world's top racers, moving into 13th place. Travis is riding a lighter and more agile, smaller displacement 2-stroke for this event, which is a bold strategy, but seems to be paying off in the rough conditions.
Taking a look at the 51 of Travis Pastrana. Definitely a fan favorite, and he's running 13th right now. Hasn't raced motocross forever.
They don't want to be going in the V final. Well, nobody does.
There's still 15 minutes plus 2 laps, and admittedly, Pastrana's like, I am not in that great of shape. Currently, he's running 13th, but for him to stay in 13th is going to be a real struggle.
How's Trav doing? So soft and muddy. It's just drawing his bike down pretty bad right now. I'm hoping his leg's all right.
Pastrana's running hard, trying to hold his position, but goes wide in the sinking terrain. Then, disaster strikes.
Pastrana is down.
Pastrana goes down, his bike stuck in the mud. Since there's no way for him to place higher than Windham's 21st place finish, he exits the race to save his knee for the next day of racing.
So Pastrana down and out.
The team now waits to see if Windham's 21st place finish and Sipes' 14th place finish will hold.
So Travis didn't have 100% power, and really for him, not riding, knee injury, for him to be out there at that level is just a testament to how much of a badass he is. You're in the trailer with him and you can actually see the anguish on his face and actually how much pain he's in. You'll never see that out here. He's signing autographs, legs up. Hey, how's it going? You know, everything's fine. And and he doesn't want to walk away from any fight. His theory is, I'm going to race until I can't race anymore. It's pretty freaking nuts, to be honest with you right now.
The final scores are tallied and the verdict is in. Due to high-ranking performances by other teams, Puerto Rico gets edged out of the top 19. Their first 2 rides didn't qualify them for the A main, so they will have to compete in the last chance qualifier, the B main, tomorrow, where only one team advances.
I don't know. I don't know if we can make that, but we're gonna give her hell. Hopefully it doesn't rain too much more. If it dries out, K-Dub and I can pick up the slack. It's hell out there, man.
Back in Luisa, Puerto Rico, volunteers are putting final touches on the homes.
Talking to Maria and seeing how grateful she was that we were there. I don't know if humbling is the right word, but it just really made you kind of think about what we have and then made me really proud of what we're trying to do.
The walls are free of mold and sport a new coat of paint. The wet flooring is gone, and there is now a new roof where there wasn't one before.
And it's raining right now, so is it working?
Yeah, it's working. I got a new sink and I got a new air conditioner, and I'm so happy because now I can move back to my house. I'm happy, and I say thank you everybody for helping me.
To see her face when we left, when they had electricity, not only a roof over the house, but they got the electricity back, like, that made my day.
The few people on that little street that are gonna have a roof tonight. In the whole scheme of it, you think, oh, it's so small. Like, couldn't we do more? But yeah, for those people, it's like life-changing.
Muchas gracias por la ayuda en la casa de mi hermano. Por el
everybody?
To see you guys come in, not feel forgotten, to see that people are willing to make commitments and follow through with them is very inspiring.
For Travis and crew, it's time to move on to the next project. While the first one addressed basic needs, the next task will focus on trying to bring back some joy to post-hurricane life.
Después de un evento como este, la gente entra en muchos procesos y yo a esta etapa, a un año y unos meses después, hay que ocuparnos de la salud mental de nuestra gente. Por eso ha habido una cantidad de suicidios en Puerto Rico increíble y hay mucha gente con depresión. Los jóvenes necesitan espacios deportivos y recreativos. Eso es lo que los va a sacar de la tristeza y les va a dar la esperanza de que nos estamos levantando.
South of Luisa is the municipality of Juncos, home to the only public motocross track in Puerto Rico.
Bueno, antes del huracán, la actividad del motocross era bastante y tan pronto pasó el huracán, lamentablemente perdimos todo.
Javier Luis is the owner of the Juncos motocross track, as well as an instructor and a fellow rider.
Todas las verjas en el piso, los postes, algunos postes se cayeron. El sitio donde estaban las personas aguareciéndose, lo perdimos. El track estaba completamente roto, que era una situación bien difícil, que estábamos viviendo no tan solo el deporte del motocross, sino todo Puerto Rico.
We're almost 2 years out now, a year and a half, and there's almost none of the lights outside of the city work. There's still a lot of things that need to be taken care of. But if we can get this track back going, we can hopefully kind of establish the riding community, to at least get them started back on the right track.
Yo como corredor, como maestro, porque yo di clases esto del motocross, y el venir Travis y todo este grupo, tanto ayudar a familias en Loíza, que mucha falta le hacen, estar aquí en esta comunidad de Junco, nos sentimos como que no estamos solos.
Our goal with this whole project, at least at the beginning, was to help them rebuild the fun down here. and let's rebuild this track. Let's get more people excited about coming out to ride. You know, we're gonna have a ride day. We're gonna give out some gear, give out some helmets, give out basically whatever these the kids and the next generation is gonna need to start getting on these motorcycles.
After renovating the track, which includes bulldozing the overgrown dirt and weeds, rebuilding the jumps, and adding structures such as an announcer's tower and flag stands, the crew plans to host a ride day where local professionals and kids alike can test out the new facilities.
The biggest problem is the track is so grown over and washed out from the rain, and nobody riding it, nobody mowing it. So it's going to be a lot of work to get all this grass off of it.
It's awesome seeing Ryan Sipes out there working on the dozer, you know, post hole digger, digging flag stands, and just making it as safe and as fun as we possibly can. Building the start gate up, building the finish line.
There's no flagger stands at any of the jumps, so part of what we worked on yesterday and today is actually making platforms for the flaggers to sit on so they can wave people off if anyone goes down, you know, safety stuff.
Today was a success. We're got a bunch of the stands done on all the tabletop jumps, the flag stands. We pretty much got this structure built here for the starting line. Everything was a hit. Track owners stoked, and we're all just stoked to be out here.
It's the day after the qualifying races at the Motocross of Nations in Michigan at the Redbud racetrack.
Yeah, qualifying at the race was tough, so I got like 14th. K-Dub got a bad start, got like 21st, and we kind of thought we might sneak in like one of the last teams, and then we were bummed that we didn't make it.
Since Team Puerto Rico didn't place in the top 19 of the qualifying races, they will have one last chance to make the A main today, but they will have to win the B main to secure the last spot in the final race. All three teammates will race in the B main, and the team with the highest two scores will advance to the A main. Reaching the finals at the Olympics of Motocross is a respectable goal for a team that is racing with the message of perseverance and overcoming hardship.
Windham and Sipes are going to go all out. I'm going to go all out. We have a fairly good chance of winning the B main, even though it's still raining and muddy.
But a possibly difficult one for some team members whose bodies are telling them another story.
K-Dub may be dead. Like, he may physically he might win the B main and just ride his motorcycle straight back to Mississippi as far as he can go and Uber the rest of the way. I definitely feel old and crippled, but not debilitated, so I'm standing.
Despite his injuries, Travis is staying the course. But with more rain in the forecast, Team Puerto Rico was once again up against shifting terrain and deep ruts.
I think Travis is like, man, how in the hell am I gonna get through this thing with not having my legs swell up, my knee go out, and all these other things? Man, you get here and the lights are on, the cameras are running, and you're riding in front of all these fans. It's a lot different. It's really fun for my family to be a part of it.
Windham, Pastrana, and Sipes all have their families along to cheer them on. Kevin's wife Dottie and their 4 kids, Travis's wife Lindsay and their 2 girls, and Ryan's wife Holly with their 2 youngest children. For Team Puerto Rico, their priorities have changed, and they're taking to the track to support a bigger cause, helping other families.
Go fast, be awesome.
Love you, girls. Hi. I gotta go though.
Seeing all 3 of the Team Puerto Rico on the track at the same time, I think is going to be the highlight of the weekend. Even if they move on to A main, this will still be the best race to watch, I think. Go Puerto Rico!
It's gonna be very nerve-wracking. Very nerve-wracking. I can't lie, I'm so nervous.
It's such an honor to be here at Redbud. I mean, the crowd's been awesome. So much support from the industry, from everyone. Great to see K-Dub deep out of retirement. Dude, Sipes is going as hard as he can. Kevin's really hoping we don't make the A main because then that's 2 more 30 plus 2 laps, but I think we got a shot at it.
Well, it's been a blast, and we you know, the fans have been very welcoming, and the media opportunities we've been getting. So, yeah, we're pumped on it. It's exceeded our expectations off the track. Now let's see if we can do it on the track.
Best of luck to Team Puerto Rico. Thanks, guys.
We love it to see Pastrana over here, man. We're also, fans of Pastrana and Kevin Windham, and so, God, we love it. Thanks, Pastrana, for help, Puerto Rico.
So now we're teed up for the B final.
Team Puerto Rico's efforts are in the minds of family and fans alike, as they line up for the gate for what will be a race that decides not only if they make it to the A main, but if the underdog team has what it takes to run with the young guns.
Qualifying races yesterday were individual riders. Now all 3 team members are on the gate.
B final gets away here in the Monster Energy FIA Motocross of Nations.
Windham powers through the first turn, battling towards the front of the pack. Sipes settles in mid-pack, and Pastrana struggles. Of the 33 riders, Team Puerto Rico's Kevin Windham edges his way from 4th place into 2nd.
It's deep, though.
Who leads the way for Japan? Is he going to triple up? Yes, he does. Windham right there. Doherty. And he's a bit long and a little bit of a heavy landing there for the South African.
Listen to the crowd right here. Certainly they are cheering on Kevin Windham, who's ridden here so many times in.
Oh, your leader's down.
Japan's rider goes down, and Windham moves into the lead.
And Windham leads the B final at Redbud.
Windham, for Puerto Rico, goes head-to-head with South Africa.
Bike up there, he gets the drive
the power down. A little bit of back brake action going on there to bring the front down. He's going to have the commanding line in the next left-hander here. You can see how sloppy it is on top, though, Jeff. And Doherty back into the lead.
South Africa takes the lead, but Puerto Rico's Windham is right on his tail, with Sipes close behind.
The race now is on between Team Puerto Rico, these 2 riders, and the Republic of South Africa.
Puerto Rico's first, but South Africa's making a quick comeback. The riders went from 12 all the way down to 6. Racing to the top 4, that's going to put us in a tie position.
South Africa is currently in 1st, Windham in 2nd, and Sipes 3rd, but another South African rider is gaining. If he makes it into the top 4, it will be a battle between Puerto Rico and South Africa to win the B main.
And as Sipes goes past his teammate Windham, Windham's going to be cool right now. He knows what he has to do.
Brian Sipes passes his teammate and idol Kevin Windham to move into 2nd, while Windham holds on to 3rd.
He's doing great! I'm so pumped for Ryan, too. This is going to be so exciting.
Sipes right here for Puerto Rico has got to keep his cool, not make any mistakes.
Travis Pastrana is hovering mid-pack at 13th place. If his teammates can hold steady at the top, only their scores will count and his will be dropped.
That could be it there for the Republic of South Africa.
The 2nd South African rider falls behind, and a rider from Portugal moves into 4th place, which means that if Windham and Sipes hold their positions, Puerto Rico will advance to the A main.
They're killing it! Puerto Rico!
If they qualify, the crowd are going to go nuts, and the team are going to go nuts like they've won the event. Here's Ryan Sipes.
Last lap to go, and for Ryan Sipes, who's never actually raced in the Motocross of Nations until now, this is going to be a huge honor for him.
Ryan Sipes is about to come over the line in 2nd place. There he is, 12.3. The fans know that he's gone through, and Windham comes over the line in a moment, and Puerto Rico will transfer to the main event at the 72nd edition of the Monster Energy FIA Motocross of Nations.
That's incredible.
And what an incredible story.
Oh my God. This should be interesting.
What, Lindsay, what now?
Oh, they did it! I don't know.
Team Puerto Rico is 1 and advances to the A main, just a few hours away.
Ryan Sipes, congratulations to you and Team Puerto Rico. You're going through and you've qualified.
Thanks. Yeah, we took the long road. We took as many laps as we could, not on purpose, but I'm just happy that as a team we get to go race, and it should be fun.
Good luck the rest of the day.
What just happened? The impossible just happened. Puerto Rico is in the A main.
Team Puerto Rico, with more spirit than physical ability on their side, shows the world they can run with the best in the sport and do it while making a difference.
So now we get to race the most laps of anybody in 2 more 30 minutes.
Fun. In the worst shape of anybody. But anyway, go Puerto Rico, man. We're so excited to win something. At least it's the B main, and we're winning for Puerto Rico, man. The efforts of the fans and the way they've gotten behind has been amazing.
For Kevin Windham at the end of that to come up and say that was the greatest race of his life, taking Team Puerto Rico on a must-win moto in the mud.
Puerto Rico! We think your dad winning. That's awesome.
The final race awaits the team, battling the best in the world. But for Team Puerto Rico, winning the B main is worth more than the trophy.
With the crowd's reaction to us winning the B main, I mean, it was sheer pandemonium. Everyone just got behind Puerto Rico. I feel like we really accomplished what we set out to do. Hopefully, we can even do more.
Eso fue lo más grandioso. No importa después si ganaban o no ganaban, ya ganamos. Ya ganamos.
Travis and crew complete renovations at the Juncos motocross track, and today is the Big Ride Day, a chance for local pro and amateur riders to get a taste of the new course.
Track's complete, looking really, really good right now.
We just showed up to the Juncos motocross track. We had no idea that there was going to be hundreds of riders out here. Kids, women, dads, retired pros, current pros. Everyone and their mother showed up to ride today. This is awesome.
8:30 in the morning, and this place was just packed. Guys, excited to be here, excited to be riding. So hopefully add a little bit of fun and go hit some laps today.
The track revamp is an effort to rebuild the local motocross community and bring more recreation back to the devastated U.S. territory.
After the Hurricane Maria, we haven't had any motocross races because all the racetracks have been gone down. Nobody, no money to help us facilitate the facilities. So we're having Travis here today, get all these kids out here for free to have some fun.
El trabajo que hicieron aquí fue espectacular. Con el poco tiempo, yo jamás pensé que lo iban a hacer. Sin parar, almorzaron y siguieron trabajando.
Before the riding begins, Javier, who owns the track, stands with the mayor of Juncos to address the crowd.
Nos sentimos contentos de que hoy estén dos atletas del Ultra que están aquí, dos Pastrana y Raya. Es un orgullo para Puerto Rico de que ellos hoy estén aquí.
Eso está muy bueno, que sigan ayudando al deporte a crecer y además de que están ayudando el deporte, están ayudando a la comunidad.
So, que ellos hayan sacado ese tiempo y enfoque en venir a apoyar y estamos viendo el resultado de ello, pues nos sentimos bien agradecidos y bien felices.
Esto está bien lleno aquí, todos los niños están bien contentos. Él es mi hijo Caleb, el número 38. Vamos a hacer un fogueíto y esperemos que todo el mundo, pues, este espectáculo que está haciendo aquí para uno taparse el sol, la pista está espectacular hoy. So, vamos a pasarla súper bien.
Travis surprises the crowd by gearing up and borrowing a bike to cut some laps with the locals.
Trav just knows that no matter what he does, he has to do a backflip. Even if it's off this flat lip and he lands out in the next berm, he still has to do a backflip. And they're off. Gate is dropped.
After a few laps, Travis couldn't help himself and entertains the crowd by doing a backflip and proving Dusty right.
He gave a good show for everybody. They're just happy to be here riding with Travis. What else can it be more exciting than that?
Emocionado. Se acabó la actividad, ellos querían más. Bien emocionado. Tara y querían más.
This has been such a rad day. Sykes brought some stuff down, I brought some stuff down, and you raffled everything off. The kids are just pumped, and even some of the adult kids as well. So just super rad day. Just got done racing, man. Had a great battle, did a backflip. It's been a good day.
After winning the B main, Team Puerto Rico was the talk of Redbud and in awe of the reception they received from the fans and fellow racers.
The race couldn't have gone any better. If you look at Kevin Windham, 1 month from deep in retirement, still 30 pounds overweight, was 14th quickest. That's the best riders from all the top motocross nations in the world, 14th quickest. For Sipes to never give up, to keep charging, if you weren't there and you didn't hear the crowd, and you didn't hear just the excitement of everybody involved, you didn't understand how big of an impact this made. And I think it was awesome for Kevin, it was awesome for me, and it was awesome for Ryan to be a part of something like that.
That was pretty neat to, I got second and we got into the A main, which was way better than just straight qualifying out of the qualifiers like we wanted to. You know, it kind of worked out, even though we were bummed at first, it worked out to be, I think, for the best.
It's all fun. Nobody ever expected us to get this far. We've done so much to raise public awareness about what happened in Puerto Rico, and raised a lot of money, had a good time, and showed that the industry cares. So this is all a win.
A couple hours later, Team Puerto Rico would have to race again in the A main against the event's quickest teams. At this stage in the weekend, Travis's knee was preventing him from going all out, and Windham had exerted everything he had in the previous race.
This was the greatest idea outside the fact that we actually had to race. But I tell you, everyone stepped up. We're in the A main, we shouldn't be here. These guys fought hard.
In the A main, Ryan Sipes did his best to keep the team competitive, but the Redbud mud and massive field of riders got the best of him.
It was just so bad, your goggles, you get roosted by somebody and then you were completely black. And you couldn't see what was coming. So you would just hit a rut or whatever, and I had fun. I just crashed too many times to do any good. And went down on the start too, first turn. Dude went down and everybody hit him and just piled up.
Windham teamed up with Pastrana to finish the competition, not necessarily the race. Knowing this was their final moments on the track together, they decided to ham it up for the crowd and put on a show.
One of the coolest things was when K-Dub came up to me at the start of the last year, he said, look, we don't want to get in the way of these guys. He's like, I want to go like hell. He goes, I've sent everything that I have. I pulled a hammy, I'm old, I'm tired, I'm like, I'm broken. He said, let's give the crowd something. Let's bring what we said we were going to bring. That's a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm. Dude, the crowd was cheering us around no matter what position, no matter how many laps down, where we were, if we were on the ground or on wheels.
Thanks for letting me in on the backflip.
I wasn't going to do it, I promise.
He's such a liar. He's such a liar.
Travis and Kevin's final lap at Donations became a celebration of the team's efforts both at Redbud and in Puerto Rico.
It had to feel good to that last lap. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
the crowd just going.
That hot lap was probably the single best lap I've ever done in motocross. My entire history, career, my single best lap.
Representing the team, selling merchandise, and spreading the word about the country's need for help is a huge win for Team Puerto Rico at the 2018 Motocross of Nations.
Nobody was like, this is about me. Travis is about Puerto Rico. Kevin is about Puerto Rico. Ryan is about Puerto Rico. Everybody, all the fans, the crews, you know, Nitro Circus, Ron Meredith, Gabby, everybody. Puerto Rico!
given like a farewell lap at the end. We just rode around and waved, and dude, everyone stood up, whole track around, and was just appreciative we were there, and they got behind the cause.
Dude, I'm so proud. I thank you for not talking me out of this. That was the best. It wasn't a victory lap, but for us, it was a victory.
And I had people sending me messages like, I can't believe what you guys are doing. This is awesome. Thank you so much. And just really grateful for what we were doing.
Todo el mundo está motivado, inspirado. Y yo sé que por mucho tiempo, por muchos años, no van a olvidar esta experiencia en su vida.
Les quiero agradecer que estén en mi pueblo con todo mi corazón. Ustedes no tienen idea cuánto significa eso que ustedes están entregando hoy, la ayuda que le dieron a María en su residencia en Villa Cañona, y mi pueblo es bien agradecido.
If you make a difference in one person's life, the Puerto Rican culture will absolutely pay it forward.
It's just really good to see people helping each other out.
Realmente no hay como pagarle lo que ustedes hacen por mi gente, por mi pueblo.
Just taking some pizzas to these kids in the school. I've never heard somebody be so excited about pizza. They're just chanting it, but this is awesome.
Hope they like backflips. They've been so excited for pizza. If they don't cheer at all for the backflip, I'll be really sad.
So seeing their faces, just, having fun and getting to eat pizza, I just cried. I was just so happy, so grateful. I just feel blessed. I really do.
We didn't save the world. We didn't change a lot, but we put the smiles on a lot of kids' faces. Hopefully we helped inspire more people to go to the motocross track. We helped build another motocross track.
We have hope in humanity. We are not alone. And you guys are setting a great example for us and for our youth, because eventually we have to pass this forward, and it will be our turn to go into somebody else's rescue. Thank you very much for being here, for not leaving us alone, and for bringing these smiles to the people that you guys are reaching and to the kids that are seeing your example.
I've been inspired on this trip by how much people just want to help. So I would hope that that's what people could take away from this, that you can donate your time and help other people in a big way and really change someone's life.
Those 3 or 4 people that now aren't living on a floor, that can now go home for the first time since Hurricane Maria to a house with a roof, with electricity, that's pretty freaking rad.
It's over. Go home.